kind of thinks like, well, I always rebel against what the council says. I may care about the council and I may care about what they stand for, but I feel like the plans are better left to myself. Hey guys, it's Mia here and welcome back to another book review. Today we are going to be talking about a book that I picked up on a whim a while ago because I've been really into this series lately and I wanted to find out more about this certain relationship. And that book is Master and Apprentice from the Star Wars series. Now, I picked this up because I wanted to know more about relationships that we didn't get to see a lot of development about. That being Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon in their actual Padawan days. Because we didn't get to see a lot of that and I was kind of interested to see. Although one thing I was surprised about that I wasn't even sure we were going to get was the fact that we got to see a lot of Qui-Gon and Dooku's relationship as well, which actually ended up being a bit more interesting than the relationship between Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. Other than that, before I continue, I will be talking about this book, so prepare for spoilers about this book. So if you don't want to be spoiled, you don't have to watch this until after you've read it, or you don't have to watch it at all. That's fine. I mainly make these videos because I enjoy talking about books, and if you like books as well, then welcome in. So, like I said, I picked this book up on a whim because I wanted to learn more about the relationship that we did not get to see in the movies themselves. I was pleasantly surprised that we got to see Qui-Gon and Dooku's relationship in the story as well. However, one nitpick I had about it was all the political talking that happened before any of the really mission could get started. And in the movies there's a lot of time constraints on what they can do with the time that they have. So those are very cut down and to move the story along. But in the book we didn't have that. So for the first 170 pages I struggled through this book and almost considered DNFing it more than once. So that was kind of a struggle for me. But I did stick with it because I did like the relationship between Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon and Dooku while he was still a master for the Jedis. So Qui-Gon, he's very much doubting himself because he doesn't think that him and Obi-Wan are compatible as master and Padawan. So there are multiple times where we see Qui-Gon kind of go through this, am I not a good enough master, or am I not compatible with him, am I not able to teach him because we are so different. He very much doubts himself and his abilities to be a good teacher, and he struggles with that throughout this entire book. He's always worried that Obi-Wan will rebel against him, and he doesn't like the fact that Obi-Wan is so rule heavy and high up in being a Padawan, where Qui-Gon himself is a bit more rebellious and out to try things that the Jedi Council might not approve of. He's very much a rebel in the sense that he doesn't always think the Jedi should handle things a certain way. He makes up his own plans and he goes with them. And so him and Obi-Wan kind of butt heads a lot, and that makes him doubt his capability to be Obi-Wan's master. Then, on top of his doubts that he's already having, the Jedi invite him to the council, and he kind of thinks well, I always rebel against what the council says. I may care about the council and I may care about what they stand for, but I feel like the plans are better left to myself. So he kind of feels like, is this a test? Is this a trap? And already feel like a bad master for Obi-Wan, and now I have this invite to the council, which I had no idea was coming because I didn't think they could stand me, and for some reason Yoda, the highest master of all, doesn't want me on the council because I am rebellious. So he has all of these doubts on top of the fact that he is wanted for a council he didn't even know would want anything to do with it. So that kind of becomes an interesting dynamic. And then on top of their dynamic, you have Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, you have Qui-Gon and Dooku, where Dooku was this very strict, very prideful kind of master to Qui-Gon. And he talks about how Dooku was really into prophecies, but then he stopped because either he saw something he didn't want to see, or he's worried it would turn him to the dark side. And then he inexplicably left the Jedi Order, and no one knows why. Least of all his Padawan, I almost said Dooku, his Padawan Qui-Gon. There's a lot of names. Hey, that rhymed. Padawan Qui-Gon. Anyway, so there's this double dynamic that I wasn't expecting we were going to get with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon and Dooku. And it really was interesting to see both how Dooku helped raise Qui-Gon and now how that's affecting his ability to raise, how many times am I going to say these names? Obi-Wan, sorry. But then, on top of all of those struggles, one of the princesses, who is too young to rule, she's like 14, I think, at the time of getting ready to take the crown. Well, they were sent on a mission to protect the princess and oversee this, like, treaty that's happening to this Kazurker or Zokora. I don't know how you say the name. I don't know if the C is silent. But I was calling him Kazurka in my head. The Kazurka clan, who enslave a lot of people. And if there's a baby born while to a couple in slavery, that baby automatically becomes the property of the Kazurka because they own the slaves that the baby was born from. So they're a very crooked organization, and they're very, very unorthodox in their way that they treat their slaves and the people born from the slaves. So the moon that the princess is ruling over is hoping to make a treaty with them and try to gather all of that. But she keeps getting attacked. And at first they think it is a group of organized previous street performers, because these street performers were going around like pulling all these pranks and causing all this trouble, so they thought maybe they escalated from pulling pranks to attacking. But then they soon find out that, wait a minute, these guys are not behind this prank. And teaming up with a couple of jewel thieves, who are also pilots, they go around trying to figure out who is really responsible for attacking the princess and how they could possibly know, like, all the moves that is being made. Like, is there somebody on the inside that's helping these organizations out? And what could they possibly want? Why do they want to stop this treaty? Well, it turns out that the treaty they were willing to sign was going to give the Kazurka all the power over the moon and the planet, which would not have been a good thing. They have too much power already. And I'm not going to explain to you who was behind the actual attacks on the princess or why, because holy shit, not even I saw that twist coming. It was like out of left field completely. I didn't expect who it was for a second. So the writer of this, I can give them that. They write a hell of a twist, because oh my goodness, I did not see it coming. Now, did I enjoy this book? After the first 170 pages, yes. I'm glad I kept going, because There were several times I thought to myself, just put the book down. You don't have to read it if you don't like it. It is not your fault. You can move on to another book. So I'm glad I stuck with it because it turned out really well in the end once the mission actually got rolling, and the twist was absolutely out of left field and I love it. So I think the next book I'm going to go into is Six of Crows. This was a gift from my aunt over Easter. She got me the double box set, so I have both of them. So I think I'm going to read this one, then read the second one, and we'll go from there. So what are you guys reading? Let me know down in the comments below, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!